Hello, your video today is on properties of numbers. You'll be able to identify different types of properties of addition and multiplication, which in turn will help you solve math problems more quickly. First one we need to talk about is the commutative property. What is it exactly? Well, it is changing the order of the values you are adding or multiplying. It does not change the sum or product. The key words there are going to be changing the order. The order does not change. So commutative property, you're talking about order of numbers. And then the sum or product does not change. It should never, ever, ever change your answer. So now that we know the definition, here's some examples for you. The first one, we have 6 plus 4. So because we're changing the order of numbers, think of it kind of like a mirror, and commutative has M's in it, so mirror, hopefully you can think that way. You're reflecting that mirror across the equal sign. So if your mirror is right here, what's going to happen on the other side is you will have 4 plus 6. 6 plus 4 is 10, 4 plus 6 is 10. That goes to show the commutative property does work. The same holds true with multiplication. So in this example, we have 9 times 5. If I can get it to... 9 times 5, reflect again across the equal sign, and we now have 5 times 9. Again, 9 times 5 is 45. 5 times 9 is 45. That's true commutative property. The next one is the associative property. The associative property is about changing the grouping of values that you are adding or multiplying, and it does not change the sum or product, so remember that. But this has to do with grouping, so parentheses must be involved here. I would even write down parentheses in your notes so that you remember. It always involves parentheses. Your first example, 2 plus 7 plus 3. Using the associative property, the order stays the same, but if I change the parentheses, I'm now going to have them located around the 7 and the 3 instead. Following order of operations, 2 plus 7 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. I'm doing the same thing. 7 plus 3 is 10. Plus 2 is 12, so that works. Alright, next one. 9 times 4, so this is using multiplication. Again, the order stays the same. You just change the parentheses. And this will not change your answer. You will get the same answer regardless of the way it looks. Next one is the additive identity. This is when you have a number and you add 0 to it, and it equals the original number, your starting number. So there's that definition. And we're going to practice with this. So you can have 12 plus 0. That will give you your answer still of 12. So that's the additive identity. You can also change the order. So I could have 0 plus 6. That's still going to give me an answer of 6. That is the additive identity. You must be adding because it has the word add in there. Multiplicative identity has the word multiply. Okay, so it has to be multiplying. In this case, you are multiplying a number and 1. The product will equal the original or starting number. Identity is because it's always itself. So 10 times 1 is going to get you 10. Again, order doesn't matter, so I could flip-flop it around and say 1 times 12, which will give me still an answer of 12. Others to know would be the 0 property of multiplication, and that's when you have a number multiplied by 0, and your answer is going to be 0. The multiplication property of -1 is you have your number, any number, and you multiply it by -1, your answer is going to be the opposite of your number. For example, your multiplication property of negative, so if I have 12 times -1, my answer is going to be -12. So you're taking the opposite. How do I use the properties? Here's your time to practice. I want you to identify these four properties, so look at them. Yes, there are variables in some. Don't let that throw you off. Use what you know. Identify those properties. And then check in with me when you are done. So go ahead and pause that video now. Alright, answers. This one right here is the commutative property of multiplication. This one is the commutative property of addition. This is the multiplication identity. And then this one right here is the associative property of multiplication. It is important that you have of addition or of subtraction also. How can I use the properties to make math problems easier? This is the best part because you can take what you know and make the math a little bit easier on you. For example, this one, the math of taking 4 times 9 and then multiplying that all by 5 probably isn't the easiest. So what I can do is take that problem and change around where the numbers go. So I can now take 4 times 9 times 5 and change it, the order of it, to now be 9 times 4 times 5, and that would be using the commutative property. And then from there I can use the associative property and say, instead of multiplying 9 times 4 first, I want to multiply 4 times 5 first. That's going to make the math a lot easier because I can do easy math, mental math. 4 times 5 is 20, and then times 9, and 9 times 2 is 18, and then add that 0 on there. Final answer is 180. Alright, your turn. This is a little bit bigger of a problem, but use what you know, commutative property, move those numbers around, move the parentheses around to make this very simple mental math. We will check this one in just a second, so pause the video and see what you can come up with. Alright, the first step I did was move some of the numbers around, which you can see. From there, I grouped, or I multiplied, and 6 times -2 and got -12 times 9, and then I have times 5 times -1. And that makes it easy math because that 12 times 9 is -108. And then the multiplicative identity here tells me that this is -5. And then I can take -108 times -5. It's a little bit easier math. 540 then would be the answer. If you didn't do it quite like this, that's fine. It's not a big deal. It's just trying to get you to think about ways you can change it. Numbers, the order of numbers, to make your math easier. This is the end of your video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Right now, what you're hearing, please tell me the artist and song title of this song. First person in every class to email me the correct answer will get a Jolly Rancher.
That's what people say. That's what people say. But I keep cruising. Can't stop, won't stop moving. It's like I got this music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright. 'Cause the player's gonna play. And the hater's gonna hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake. Shake it off, shake it off.